Guys, keep those eyes up there, please.
So we're looking at a lot of things as we get to the scene of a structure fire.
Arrive at scene, they do a size up. They're kind of looking at the situation as a whole, what's threatened, what's going to be threatened, and what plan of attack are we going to take. If it's something where the firefighters can go direct, right, which is right on the flames themselves, that's the preferred action. If it's burning too hot, they might have to take an indirect or more of a defensive action.
Key things a firefighter is assessing is the structure itself. Is it safe? Do we have any imminent threats? Is our people inside? Is there imminent rescue? And we look at prioritizing our tactics then to suppress that fire and how we're going to go about bringing calm to the storm.
It's a risk-benefit analysis for the incident commander and for the firefighters, and we're not going to put ourselves at extreme risk to save a building. We will for people, put ourselves a little bit of risk for animals, but not for stuff. If a fire crew pulls up to a structure and it's clearly what we call threatened, undefensible, we're not going to spend any time or any work. If the homeowner hasn't taken any time to prepare their property or their home or their landscaping, we're not going to put people at risk to save it. So it's that cooperation between us and the homeowners. As an incident commander or as a strike team leader, I don't want to put my crews in a dangerous situation. The more work people do beforehand to help us, it's kind of to help us help you, the more likely we are to deem it as defensible and do what we can.
When you put that structure in the wildland-urban interface environment, what is the fire front? What is the intensity of that fire? What risk does that bring to us as firefighters operating in that environment? When you have good clearance and defensible space, firefighters are going to say, this is great, we can put in our fire truck, back it up to the structure, we can survive here. If things go bad, we can make a stand and do everything we can to attempt to save that structure. When you have vegetation that's close to your structure, you have trees that are not maintained around your structure, you have tall grass, things that are going to lead to an increased fire intensity around that structure, it's going to put us in a very, very hard spot to say, we're going to stay here and defend this. We know we're safe. If there's a chance that we're going to lose our lives and firefighters are going to die in your property to save that structure, we're not going to take that risk. What homers can do to help us be successful in the event of a wildland fire is provide us good access. Make sure there's enough clearance, the roadways are clear, we can get fire trucks into your location.
They need to make sure that we have good access to their home and good egress, that gates are functioning and we can open them, that they're wide enough to get our fire engines through, that when we do get in there we have room to turn our fire engines around. We're looking for the building construction type. Is it a new building? Is it an old building? That makes a difference. Newer construction tends to burn hotter and quicker and fail sooner. The older construction, it gives us a little bit more time. They're typically sturdier buildings with sturdier underpinnings. And if you know the building, roughly when it's built, it kind of gives you an idea of how the fire is going to spread and the amount of time you have to fight it.
Some of the things that really affect us are how rapidly expanding is the incident. If we have winds that are over 20 miles an hour, we're getting spot fires, or we have winds that our aircraft are not able to fly in. Some of those are considered major setbacks that really have to get us to focus on, okay, how are we going to attain this perimeter control? Can we be effective with the resources at hand? Those are the fires that we're trying to prevent in California through good management practices, defensible space, response, well-equipped fire departments. There's a lot to it, but that's really the ultimate goal. Make sure when we get up to your structure or in your property that there is area that we call defensible space. It enables us to stay there and fight that fire. It keeps the intensity low. It helps reduce the threat of that fire leaving that property and extending beyond. So great vegetation management and defensible space practices really start compounding and making the totality of that emergency stack in the favor of us.
You guys, keep those eyes up there, please.